Hello, welcome. Today I have another ink review video for you. This one is called Rose Quartz and it's by Pelikan. And this was a suggestion by Molly. Thank you for the suggestion. She suggested I try this one because it is close to Magnolia Mirage in color. So here we go. And she said it might hit that spot, you know, when you see an ink that you really like, maybe this will be close enough. So this is how the bottle looks. It's very heavy, very nice bottle, very pretty. Let's go ahead and open this. That's how it looks in there. All right, let's do the swatch first. All right, so far it is a very pretty pinkish color. There is a little bit of blue in there, I think. At least that's how it looks just from what I'm seeing here. Let's move some of this down here. There we go. All right. Let's write the name. Let's see how they spell it. Z. Okay. Sometimes companies will come up with fun spellings for the names of their ink, so I just had to double check. This is how it looks so far. I'm going to set this under a fan to dry. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and this is some copy paper. And as you know, I like to test everything out on copy paper because sometimes you're in a situation where maybe you're at school or work and you don't have access to your nicer papers, and you just want to know if you put this ink in a pen, is it going to behave? And that's why we do this test. All right. And this is copy paper. Okay, so far so good. It's a very pretty shade of pink. I'm going to set that aside and we'll test this out on some HP 32. And HP 32 paper is also copy paper, but it's smoother and tends to resist the ink a little bit. And that means that sometimes you're able to see special properties in the ink if it has any. So I always like to test it out on here. It's also a nice budget-friendly option. This ink is laying down really nicely as well. And if there are any other colors that you would like to see me review, just leave a suggestion, and if I have the ink or if I can get it, then we'll do a review video. I already have some more requests on my list that I have to get, so hopefully those will be coming soon. And this is some Tomo River paper. I always test the Tomo River paper as well because if the ink has special properties, they typically show up the best on this paper. There we go. And if you enjoy these videos or if they're helpful to you at all, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That way you don't miss any, and it also really helps me out. Okay, there we go. That's how that's looking so far. I'm going to check on our swatch and I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and here's how this turned out on the copy paper. This looks really pretty. It's a beautiful pink color, and it's got like it's definitely a cooler toned pink. And there doesn't seem to be any shading on the copy paper, but it gives it a very, like, I don't know, smooth or almost creamy look to it. Very interesting. No feathering or anything, so you could definitely use this wherever. So this is a good ink for that. Here is how it looks on the HP 32, and you can see that it's a little bit more blue leaning on this paper. Definitely a little bit more richer, more saturated color. And also when the writing down here, you can see now there's a little bit of shading coming out. It almost goes from like this pink to a pinky purple. Super pretty color. And then here's how it looks on the Tomo River paper. And again, you've got this lovely shading here, a little bit of halo shading and the shading in the writing. So this definitely will give you some shading on Tomo River paper. Super pretty ink on all the papers. It looks really, really nice. And then here's how the swatch looks. So you can see it's a very nice cool toned pink, and then the shading around here, whether it's the halo shading or just anywhere where the ink goes down heavier, it's almost like a violet or a lavender color, sort of purpley. And then you can see in the writing the really pretty shading. So it looks like shading in the writing, but on the swatch you get like this pink to purple. And just because I happen to have it, we'll go ahead and compare it to a swatch of Magnolia Mirage. So here's how that looks. This is a mix that I made using the Birmingham Pen Company's recipe on their site, 15 parts of tea berry ice cream to 1 part of airline. And when you put them side by side like this, you can see that the Rose Quartz is definitely more purple leaning. It's more blue. And Magnolia Mirage has these kind of warm pinks that come out as well. So it has both the cool tone pinks and then the warm tone pinks with this blue outline shading. And on here, it's more of like one shade of pink with more purple. It's more purple is what I'm trying to say. So I wonder if maybe I use something to dilute this, like the Birmingham Pen Company's dilution solution, and if I could dilute it down, if it would look closer to this in writing and in swatches. So that might be something to experiment with. But you can see that in writing, it is very similar. I would argue that this is still a little bit maybe more blue or a little bit darker, just barely, but it is very, very close. So if you are looking for a dupe for Magnolia Mirage, the Rose Quartz I think does come very close, especially if diluting this down would help it achieve the look that Magnolia Mirage has. So hopefully this was helpful to anybody else looking for this ink. But this is a beautiful color on its own, regardless of whether or not you're trying to find a replacement for Magnolia Mirage. And I will still use this ink regardless. It's very beautiful. So I hope this was helpful to you, and thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.